Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today, doing the what's next on Ionut Baluta, the 122-pound Super Bantamweight contender, who this guy just continues to impress. You know, this guy is I think overall he's like 15-3 now or something like that. But this guy just you know, you really can't count this guy out on. I believe it was Friday the 20th. He took on Brad Foster, another kind of up-and-coming fighter in the 122-pound division. You know, had a lot of promise. Foster from England. And Baluta went again into somebody else's territory and got a win. You know, this guy is just, like I said, he's nonstop. He's all over it, and he went in and got an upset decision victory in another fight that many people thought he was going to lose. But that marks, you know, in his last 4 fights collectively, and he might have had another fight in between there where he stayed busy, but the 4 fights that mattered: TJ Doheny in 2020, David Joyce and David Allen Joyce in also in 2020, and then Michael Conlon last year, and then Brad Foster. This guy's coming in an underdog in all those fights, and he's walking out 3-1, and that's as an underdog. He, you know, defeated TJ Doheny by decision, then he knocked out Joyce, then he loses a razor-thin majority decision to Michael Conlon, and then defeats Brad Foster now. So this guy is getting some real solid wins, and he's definitely, this is why this guy absolutely is a top 10 guy. But he's not highly ranked in any of the governing bodies at 122. I think he's only ranked in 1 in the WBC, and he's number 14. So this guy really deserves some love following this win, and I hope he gets it. I hope they give him some love and he can work himself into some kind of an eliminator. But the big question now is what's next for Ionut Baluta following another upset victory. So let's start with the top of the, you know, we'll run through the top 10 real quick and see. So we start with Fulton Jr. Stephen Fulton's not going to take a risk on a guy like Baluta. Fulton's too big of a name. He's in my opinion, he's going to beat Daniel Roman this weekend coming up, and be in prime position to fight whoever he wants, big names included. And Baluta's not a top 5 guy, but he is top 10, so I really don't think Fulton's considering him. Number 2 is MJ Mirage Akhmadaliev, the other undefeated unified champion at 122. And MJ's in the same boat. He's got mandatories due, or he's going to be going after undisputed against Stephen Fulton. He's not going to take a risk and fight a guy like Baluta. Number 3 is Brandon Figueroa. Not likely to happen. Figueroa likely moving up to 126. I don't think he'd want to fight, take a risk on a guy like Baluta. Number 4, our next is Daniel Roman. Roman, if win or lose, he's not going to, against Stephen Fulton, he's not going to want to fight Baluta. If he loses, he's not going to want to take the risk against a guy like Baluta. And if he wins, he's going to be too high up on the food chain at 122. He's going to be number 1 or number 2 in the division. He's not going to want to fight a guy like Baluta next. Azat Havanasian. Now this one's interesting. Havanasian is basically has gotten the shaft by the WBA on getting a mandatory fight for the WBA title, and he's an avoided fighter. And if Baluta is somewhat avoided, why not Havanasian versus Baluta in like a WBA final eliminator? That would make a lot of sense. 2 top 10 guys that are avoided by the top fighters because they're not big names and they're upset minded. I think that one makes a lot of sense if Baluta could work out a deal with Golden Boy and get the fight going. So I think that one might be possible because Havanasian is willing to risk his number 1 contendership instead of waiting around and fighting nobodies. Next up, Luis Neri. Neri's coming off of a nice win over Carlos Castro, but he's a PBC guy. I doubt Neri would want to fight a guy like Baluta when the PBC has a lot of in-house fighters that are solid with bigger names that they can give to Neri instead of him taking a risk against a guy with an unknown name like Baluta. Then there's Ronnie Rios, the veteran. He's fighting MJ for the title. I think he's going to lose to MJ in late June, and then I don't think he gets another crack you know, I don't think he's going to want to fight a guy like Baluta after losing to MJ. Then you got Angelo Leo, another PBC guy. I don't think he'd take the risk on Baluta. And then Carlos Castro coming off of a loss. You know, Baluta, in my opinion, firmly set himself a spot in the top 10 with that win over Brad Foster, because he keeps beating guys like Brad Foster that are just outside of the top 10 or on the rise. He shuts them down. So I'm big on Baluta. It was another nice win. That's the what's next on him. I'm really hoping, though, that he gets like somebody like Havanasian in the top 10 that's widely avoided will fight him. Outside of that, he might have to do it the hard way, which I don't think he minds, and earn it all the way by taking on, you know, like getting himself ranked, you know, and working himself up the rankings. But this was a nice win. Congrats to Ionut Baluta. That's his what's next. Well, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, you know, comment, or go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.